Hello super friends and welcome to DC TV Talk, and in today's episode of the show we're going to be going into a little bit more detail about something we learned about Legends of Tomorrow Season 4, and that is that a recent legend is going to be returning to the show in an evil form to kill the team. So let's discuss. Now, this news comes from TV Line, who reported this the other day along with their massive reports of all the other DC TV shows and all the other shows coming out this fall. And one of the things they mentioned in their report for Legends of Tomorrow Season 4 was that a returning member of the Legends is going to be coming back in a different form to kill the team. So what I want to do in this video is I'm going to give a few suggestions about who this member could be and why would they return. So let's go into that. So the first option I want to discuss is Hawkman. Now I want to get this guy out the way just because I feel like Hawkman was a bit of a useless character. Back in Season 1, I was not a big fan of Hawkman. I just thought he was a bit annoying, a bit useless, a bit kind of just a meandering character who I didn't really enjoy on the team. So would they bring him back? Personally, I don't think so, just because, again, he wasn't that well received. Fans don't really like him that much, so if he came back, I don't really feel like people would be, excited to be like, oh, Hawkman, he's back. I don't really feel like it would be like that. So personally, I don't feel like Hawkman is going to be the member returning to the show. I'd also like to put Hawkgirl in the same boat. I think Hawkman and Hawkgirl were easily one of the worst things about Legends of Tomorrow Season 1. Their whole story, their whole connection to Vandal Savage, who was an awful villain to begin with. So I really don't feel like any of these two characters could return, just because, again, fans don't really like them, fans don't really care for them, so if they came back, it wouldn't really be impactful. So I'd like to talk about Martin Stein. Now, of course, Martin Stein, one half of Firestorm, he left the show in the Crisis on Earth X crossover after he was killed off and delivered one of the most emotional deaths of the Arrowverse. Would Martin Stein return? I feel like it's possible. At a recent, I believe it was at a recent Dragon Con over in the US, Martin Stein, or the actor who played Martin Stein, Victor Garber, did say he hopes that the Legends do come and pick him up for an episode. So that does hint that maybe he could come back for an episode or two next season. Could it be this episode where an evil Martin Stein comes back to try and kill the team? It'd be definitely very interesting and definitely a fun role for Victor Garber to get his hands on. I'd definitely like to see it. The only thing is that Martin Stein, obviously, without Firestorm, without Jax, he wasn't really much. Like, he wasn't really anything. He's just kind of like a scientist who, he couldn't exactly run around and, do, like, fighting to try and kill the Legends. I just don't see it, just because, quite frankly, he's an old man. So I don't really see him from that standpoint. I mean, would I like to see it? Yeah, I definitely think it'd be cool. Like, I really enjoyed Victor Garber on the show. I loved Martin Stein as a character, so I'd definitely like to see him come back. I just don't know if it would necessarily be in this role or in this episode. I feel like we may see Martin Stein, but it'll be in a different episode, a different role. It won't be this. My next choice is Rip Hunter. Now, obviously, Rip Hunter, played by Arthur Darvill, he will be, there's no actual report that Rip Hunter is coming back next season. They've never actually stated or said that Rip Hunter is going to be coming back in Season 4. I'm pretty sure they've said more likely that Rip Hunter won't be returning next season. Now, I think Rip Hunter is quite unlikely in this scenario simply because they've done the evil Rip thing before. Like, in Season 2, they did evil Rip, so I don't think they'd do it again, just because it'd be reusing the same trope. And also, Rip is one of the easiest characters to do it with, just because Rip is kind of, he's kind of like Malcolm Merlyn in the sense that he just kind of does whatever suits him best. I mean, he's kind of a good guy at heart, unlike Malcolm, but, he's kind of a good guy, but at the end, he kind of just does whatever he needs to do at that time in order to make things work, in order, like, it doesn't matter if it sacrifices a life or whatever, as long as it keeps the timeline stable, that's all he really cares about. And again, they've done the evil Rip thing before in Season 2 with the Legion of Doom. I just don't think they'd do it again. So, personally, mix that with the reusable trope, and mix that with the fact that the showrunners have basically said Rip is not coming back next season. I don't think Rip Hunter is a likely option. A far more likely option is Captain Cold. Now, I feel like Captain Cold is one that a lot of people want it to be. I think a lot of people are really going to push for this to be Captain Cold, just because everybody loves Captain Cold. Everyone loves Wentworth Miller. He's so good in that role, and he was great on Legends. He was really good, especially back in Season 1. He kind of went down that redemption arc from The Flash to Legends of Tomorrow. He was really, he died a hero. He sacrificed himself for the Legends, and in that sense, you could use the idea of, oh, he died fighting with the Legends, so maybe if he comes back, he would, want to kill them, because he almost feels like they're responsible for his death in some way. So you could do that storyline. Also, I mean, I know they've done Captain Cold evil on the show before as well, because obviously they did Captain Cold as a member of the Legion of Doom, but Captain Cold has been evil on the Flash. Like, technically his origin is him being evil, so I don't really feel like it's the same application as Rip Hunter. Obviously, we've seen many different versions of Captain Cold, like a good version, a bad version. We've also seen his Earth X version of Citizen Cold. So I feel like Captain Cold is quite a likely option. I'd like to see Captain Cold because I'd like to see Wentworth Miller come back. Obviously, they would only... Wentworth Miller's not on contract with the CW anymore, so they just have to come back and pay him for this one episode. They wouldn't have to, you know, have to put him into a contract or anything. He'd just come back for this one episode. So I think Leonard Snart, Captain Cold, definitely a likely option, and definitely one that fans would be begging for. Now, my top choice is Jefferson Jax Jackson. Now, Jax is probably one of my favourite Legends characters. I think he's great. I always loved him, especially when they introduced him in The Flash Season 2 and they made him the new Firestorm. I was very, very happy. I really love Franz Drama. I met him at Heroes and Villains FanFest this year, and I spoke to him for about a solid 5 minutes, just because he was so sound and easygoing, and we just chatted for a while. And one thing I actually asked him is, would he be coming back for Season 4 of Legends, and he told me that there is definitely a possibility. And I feel like Jax coming back as the evil character, I think would be interesting, because we've never seen really an evil Jax. The closest we got was in Season 2 when they went into Rip's, Rip Hunter's inner psyche, and they had like the evil Sarah and the evil Jax, and they did that. But besides that, we've never actually seen like an evil version of Jax. I think it'd be really cool to see that. I would love to see Jax come back, especially because, like I said, I think Franz Drama is a very capable actor. I think he's very good in the role of Jax. And like I said, he was one of my favourite Legends, so I'd really love to see him come back. And especially because I think he's the most likely out of all these options. Because Wentworth Miller, quite frankly, is going to be a lot more expensive than Franz Drama to get back. So I feel like, you know, in terms of the CW, it would make a lot more sense financially to get Jax instead of Leonard Snart. And I just feel like he'd be a lot more interesting, because again, we've seen evil Captain Cold, we've seen it, so it's not really interesting, you know, we kind of know what to expect. Whereas an evil Jax, we wouldn't really know what to expect or how Franz Drama would play it. So I think it'd be very interesting, and personally, my top choice, who I'd pick if it was up to me, I would definitely go for Jax. Whether he would be Firestorm is a different question, or if he'd just be an evil version of Jax. I think it'd be interesting if they did Firestorm, because obviously that means maybe Victor Garber would come back as well, and he could just do some voiceover work, or maybe we would get both. Who knows? We could just get Jax, or we could get Firestorm. It's an entirely different question, but I think Jax is the most likely option, and definitely the one I would personally go for if it was up to me. But who would you guys like to see come back as this evil legend trying to kill the team? Make sure you let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. Who's your top choice and why? Make sure you tell me everything in the comments down below. And also, if there's any legends I missed, I'm pretty sure I got them all, but make sure you tell me, you know, if there's any one that I missed, then make sure you let me know. Like, I mean, what about if they do Kid Flash? That'd be pretty insane if they brought back Wally West as the evil version. I mean, they'd all kind of be screwed because he's a speedster, so they probably wouldn't do that. But yeah, make sure you let me know all your thoughts about it in the comment section down below. So, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a like. It'll help me out a lot. And share this video with anyone and everyone you know who loves DC TV, and get them to join the community. And as always, guys, please subscribe for all of your latest content on Supergirl, The Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Arrow, and Black Lightning. And with all that said, guys, I hope to see you again in my next video.